So we are here on page number 22. I was not born with a hunger to be free. I was born free, free in every way that I could know. Free to run in the fields near my mother's hut, free to swim in the clear stream that run through my village, free to roast mealies under the stars and ride the broad backs of slow moving bulls. As long as I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. So here Nelson Mandela is talking about his childhood. He says he was the one who is known as a champion of freedom. He's known as one of those people, those who fought for freedom in his country and later became president. But it doesn't mean that he was born as a freedom fighter. It's not that when he was born then he had hunger for freedom. So as a child, he was happy to be free to roam about in his fields near his mother's hut. He was happy to be free to swim in the clear stream. He was happy to run through the village. He was happy to be free to roast mealies under the stars and to ride the broad backs of slow moving bulls. So he was happy in having the freedom to move about, to eat anything, or to enjoy in his ways. So, as a child, freedom meant for him to enjoy in his own way, right? As long as I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by laws of man or God. So far he was, obedient to his father, and as far as he he conformed to the customs of his tribe and all. No one spoke against him. No one was against him. He was not considered as an unlawful person. But when was he considered as an unlawful person? When he started struggling for the freedom of his country, when he started against discrimination. It was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion, when I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken away from me. So, as a child, what freedom meant to him? As a child, freedom meant having his own time, okay, enjoying in his own way. But as he grew up, he realized that his childhood freedom was only an illusion. Arshini, yes, beta. Yes.
Ma'am, actually, I just got through Honey's message and she's saying that she's in the waiting room.
Okay, okay. Just a minute. Let me check. But there is no one in the waiting room, and I have already disabled waiting room.
I have entered now.
Yeah, it was no, but it's not. It was not working. Okay, I had disabled waiting room in the very beginning. Okay.
Ma'am, actually, I started joining at 11:45 exact time, but I think some network issue may be
I
there.
disabled waiting room later on, so I guess that's why. So in case it happens and you can leave, then you rejoin. Then waiting room doesn't work. Okay, I disable it afterwards. So here he says it was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion. So he says that his boyhood freedom was an illusion. What is illusion? Illusion is something that appears to be real, but it's not. Okay, something which you think is real, but it is not. That is an illusion. That's a mirage. That's an eyewash, actually. So when he started growing up, he started realizing that his childhood freedom was actually not the freedom. At that time, he discovered that his childhood freedom had already been, taken away from him. That I began to hunger for it. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. The transitory freedoms of being able to stay out at night, read what I pleased, and go where I chose. So, what is freedom for you people also? As a child, what is freedom for you? Freedom for you is like whatever you want to do at whatever time you want to do, whatever you want to eat, you should be given permission. That is what freedom is for you people. You know? This is what Nelson Mandela also felt. So, but later, as a young man in Johannesburg, I yearned for the basic and honorable freedom of achieving my potential, of earning my keep, of marrying and having a family, the freedom not to be obstructed in a lawful life. So as a child, your freedom means like you want the freedom to stay out whenever you want out to be there, okay, to read whatever you want to read, to go wherever you want to go. But later, as a young man, he desired for the basic and honorable freedom of achieving his potential. So as he grew up, he wanted more, another kind of freedom. What was that? The potential of earning my keep. So he wanted he wanted to earn his own keep, his own status of marrying and having a family. He wanted the freedom to have his own family, or to marry marry in his own way. So he wanted the freedom not to be obstructed in a lawful life. So he wanted that he should be given freedom in a lawful manner only. But then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. So slowly and gradually he realized that it was not only he who was not free. He got to realize that even his other countrymen also were not free. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. So everybody's freedom was, restricted. This is what he realized. That is when I joined the African National Congress. And that is when the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. So when he joined African National Congress, at that time he realized that he was actually getting more hungry for the freedom of his own countrymen or country. It was a desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self-respect that animated my life. It was the desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self respect. So he wanted that the people of his tribe, the people of his race, Black people, should have a life of self respect and dignity. He wanted the freedom that we people should have the respect, self respect, and dignity that transformed a frightened young man into a bold one. So that desire of freedom to have self respect and dignity, that changed Nelson Mandela from being a from being a frightened man to a bold one. So earlier, this very Nelson Mandela, was not very bold and courageous because he wanted freedom only for his own self. He had you can say, he had a personalized concept of freedom. He wanted freedom only to roam about. He wanted freedom to only have his own kind of family. But later on, he realized that the freedom, that his people are the people who belonged to black race. So the blacks. So they did not enjoy a life of self-respect and dignity, and he wanted that for his community. And when he got this desire, that made him bolder and more courageous. So that made him that brought a change in him. So earlier he was a law abiding citizen. Children, mind it, when you are a law abiding person, when you conform to all the laws, or rules and regulations of life, it doesn't mean that you are a timid or a very frightened fellow. But yes, if you follow the laws just because you don't want to fight for justice, then you may be called as a timid fellow. So raising voice against injustice is courage, and remaining quiet even when something is required to be done, right? But when you're quiet, then you may be called as a frightened fellow, as a person who is not having any courage. So earlier he didn't have that courage, but when he saw his community not having self-respect or dignity, then he had the desire to go for that, and that desire made him courageous. That drove a law-abiding attorney to become a criminal. So that desire, the desire to have his community have self-respect and dignity, that made him that transformed a law-abiding person to a criminal. Was Mahatma Gandhi a criminal? Was Bhagat Singh a criminal? Lala Lajpat Rai, was he a criminal? So these people, those who fought for the freedom of our nation, they were not criminals, but yes, they were courageous enough to challenge the authority of the Britishers. So in the similar way, the way our freedom fighters were not criminals, but yes, when they challenged the British authority, that is the authority of the people, those who enslaved us, they had to act like criminals, but they were not criminals. They were freedom fighters. Similarly, this Nelson Mandela, who was actually a very law-abiding person, but he became criminal, means that he started fighting for the rights of blacks. He started fighting for not only the rights for the blacks, but for the democracy. So wherever there is a democracy, there all are alike. Okay, then you cannot say like whites are better than blacks or blacks are better than whites. No, then equality prevails. So he started fighting, or he started struggling for, you can say, equality, for democracy. So he says that desire to gain self-respect and dignity, that made him change from a law-abiding citizen to a criminal. But mind it, criminal here means the person who started fighting to get self-respect and dignity. Okay, the one who challenged the might of the authority. That turned a family loving husband into a man without a home. So the one who loved to have a family, the one who loved to have his own wife and children and parents, that person who had a great love for family, that person became a homeless man, right? So you also remember the stories of Shahid Bhagat Singh or Lala Lajpat Rai and all. So these people all left their homes and became homeless. Okay, so any freedom fighter, you take from your own country, you can have an example of freedom fighter, and then you'll realize that yes, they also left their own homes and became the fathers of the nation. Got it? So Mahatma Gandhi became father of the nation, not just for nothing, because he adopted whole India. He told whole India that Britishers are nothing. They stand nowhere in telling us what we have to do in our country. So it was Gandhi who, for the first time, taught Indians to raise voice against injustice. And it was Gandhi who, for the first time, told Indians how to fight against Britishers. He gave the method of non-violence and peace. Okay, he gave that method, like this is how we can fight against Britishers. He gave the concept of satyagraha movement. He gave the concept of quit India movement. He gave the concept of like non-cooperation movement. He told Indians to quit Britishers goods. So he wanted India to he gave the concept of self-reliance. Till now we people are going for self-reliance, and when we people are getting self-reliant, then we Indians are only fighting against those Indians, those who are making India self-reliant. So the country which should have been proud of those industrialists who are the foundation of our country, those who are making India stand firm on the grounds of self-reliance, we people are saying like, why are they there? We people are challenging them. Instead of we also becoming like them, instead of we also becoming like those business tycoons, we are telling like, why are they there? Okay, did any country say like, well, why that Bill Gates, did anyone oppose Bill Gates in one's own country? But we people here in India are opposing the existence of the billionaires of our country. If the billionaires, if some business tycoon is in India, has he become business tycoon, thereby taking money from our pockets? He has become a business tycoon with his own tactics, with his own maneuver, with his own uh, tricks. Okay, he might have been filing all the IT returns, income tax returns, he might have been doing all the official work. That's why in the end he has become something. So Gandhi wanted Indians to become self-reliant, and today we are becoming self-reliant. And then also we people are challenging that self-reliance concept also, because we don't want those some people to be the top class industrialists or the business tycoons. I guess Bill Gates might be thanking like he's not born in India. Otherwise, we might have been calling him also names like Bill Gates. He has become the billionaire, top world number one, like richest man of the world. How did he become? Okay, the point is that we need to know the facts. Do we fight against the criminals? Do we fight against the terrorists? But we are fighting against the business tycoons. Like, why have they become business tycoons? So strange. So here Nelson Mandela says that I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited free. So that turned a family loving husband into a man without a home. That forced a life loving man to live like a monk. So the one who loved family life, that person denounced family. Who is a monk? The one who lives a life of denunciation. The one who leaves family worldly pleasures and lives a life of saint. They are monks. So he says that desire to bring self-respect and dignity in our life, I've changed from being a frightful man to a bold one, from a law-abiding citizen to a criminal, and from a life-loving man to a monk. I am no more virtuous or self sacrificing than the next man. But I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. So he says that I did not like that freedom which I yearned for when I was a child. As a child, he wanted to be free to move about anywhere. As a child, he wanted to be free to read any kind of book. As a young man, he wanted to have his own family or to marry the girl whom he wanted. But now he was not satisfied with these kinds of small desires. Now when he realized that his own people, that his own race was not free, then he realized that it was not only what he wanted more. And what he wanted self-respect and dignity for the whole of his race. I was not allowed. I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms. What is the poor and limited freedoms he is talking about? Can anyone tell me what is the limited and poor freedom Nelson Mandela is talking about? Raise hand those who know the answer. He says that now I don't want those limited and poor freedoms. What are those limited and poor freedoms he is talking about that he doesn't want? Raise hand. Come on. Okay, Ruhani, give the answer.
Ma'am, according to Mandela, the limiting and the poor freedoms means the freedoms which a child think as freedoms or which a common person think as being a freedom. For example, a child being to roam here and there without any restrictions, a young man to marry the girl of his own wish, and other family pleasures.
Yes, very
Are
good.
the kind of poor freedoms for him, whereas the real freedom is the freedom of his own people and his nation.
Yeah.
Where everyone has equal rights.
Yeah, clap for you. Very good answer, Ruhani. So here the minor or the petty freedoms he is talking about is the freedom which as a child or as a young man he wanted, but later on when he realized that his own people were not having that self-respect or dignity, then he did not want that poor freedoms and he wanted that freedom of the larger extent. Okay, I was allowed. So he says that I am no more virtuous or self sacrificing than the next man. But I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. Freedom is indivisible. You cannot divide freedom. The chains on any one of the chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. The chains on all of my people were the chains on me. So you cannot divide freedom. Like I have one freedom and you don't have It's not divisible. So he says that if some people are chained up, if some people have are chained up in the shackles of slavery, then you cannot enjoy. If some people are chained up, then I am also chained up. I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. So there are two people, one is the oppressor and the other is oppressed. Okay. In India, Britishers were the oppressors and we people were oppressed. Doesn't mean that we people, Indians, have become free and we make Britishers become our slave. Nelson Mandela says, like, we don't want anyone to be enslaved. Neither the oppressor is to be enslaved nor the oppressed is to be enslaved. Everybody should be given the freedom. Freedom is indivisible. It doesn't mean that you make the Indians free and you make Britishers slaves. No. Even the Britishers, let them enjoy their freedom. Let Indians also enjoy their freedom. This is what we have got actually. Okay. So in the end, when India got freedom, did we say like, okay, now we Britishers had been enslaving us for the last 2 centuries and now we will make Britishers become our slaves? We did not have this kind of desire. Rather, no one has. So this is what Nelson Mandela says, like neither the oppressor nor the oppressed has to be enslaved. So they all have to be liberated. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. So if somebody takes away the freedom of other one, then what you are, if you take away the freedom of somebody else, it means that you are a prisoner of hatred. It means that you are full of hatred. It means that you have been imprisoned in the jail of prison. Simple meaning is that if you snatch somebody's freedom, it means that you are full of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. So if you enslave somebody, it means that you are prejudiced and narrow-minded. What is prejudice? A strong dislike without any good reason. Actually, prejudice is liking or disliking something for no reason. You might have come across people, those who always say, I don't like this, or I like this. I like this a lot. I don't like this. So saying this, I like this, or I don't like this, it is like being judgmental. And being judgmental is like being prejudiced. And being prejudiced is not a good quality. Okay? It's not that you always say, I like this, I like this. No one is asking you what you like. Don't be judgmental. Okay, those people who say I like this, I don't like this, that is being prejudiced. So Nelson Mandela says that those people who enslave others. How do we enslave others? When we tell somebody like, you don't have to talk to anyone else, you talk only with me, you cannot do this because I am your friend. Because you are my friend, you have to do what I am telling you. It means that you are enslaving somebody. It means that you are liberating somebody's freedom. And when you do this, it means that you are prejudiced and narrow-minded. Got it? So he says, neither the oppressor nor the oppressed. No one is to be enslaved. Everyone must enjoy freedom. But if you deny somebody's freedom, it means that you are prejudiced or narrow-minded. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom. Just as surely as I'm not free when my freedom is taken from me. So if I take somebody's freedom, I am not free, it means. And if somebody takes away my freedom, then of course I am not free. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. So the oppressor and oppressed both must be given the freedom to live their life in their own way. And if it doesn't happen, it means that they are denied of their humanity. It means that they are denied of their right to be human being. Human beings are naturally born to be free. Got it? So the chapter has finished. So with Nelson Mandela giving us a very good example of, with very good concept of what freedom is. Freedom is to live with self-dignity and respect. and at the same time ensuring that we are free and we are letting others also remain free. Got it? So this is how the chapter was all about. The one who sends me attendance, Harshdeep. Harshdeep, you will tell me the names of children, those who are always absent, usually absent. Because today also 43 children are there, 2 children are not there. So usually there are 42 or 41 children. So the children, those who are usually absent, or the children who are, or is there somebody who has never ever joined the class? Is there anyone who has never joined the class from your class? Come on. Saharsh. Does this boy Saharsh come daily? Saharsh, unmute yourself. Saharsh. Madhav. Okay, Madhav. Is Madhav in your class? Madhav, unmute yourself. Madhav, unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Madhav, you are in 10th A.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you come daily?
Yes.
But I didn't see your name. Okay, I'll check the attendance. I have the attendance of daily with me. And that's Saharsh. Does he come daily? Saharsh. Okay, anyways. Okay, now come to the questions. What twin obligations does Mandela mention? Anji Sahaj, give the answer. Sahaj, unmute yourself and speak up.
Good morning, ma'am.
Give the answer to question number 1.
Ma'am, I don't know the answer.
Why? Why don't you know the answer? We have done the whole chapter and you're telling me I don't know the answer. When we do reading of the chapter, then side by side keep on preparing your answers. Suppose today I did 1 page. From 1 page you prepare your question answers. Yes.
Ma'am, I don't have book.
Yes, but yes.
I don't have book, ma'am.
But are you there? Can you see the book on the screen?
Yes, ma'am, but घर पे जैसे प्रैक्टिस करनी होती है उसके लिए मतलब नहीं है अभी अरेंज करनी है.
PDF on your mobile. Everything is available in your device. Everything is there. I am also showing you the PDF on screen. I'm not holding any book in my hand. Don't talk like this. For the last 1 year, you people have been using this, device, and still you are ignorant. Okay, Prabgun, give the answer. Sahaj, turn off your...
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Prabgun, give the answer.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Mandela mentions that every man has twin obligations. The first is to his family, parents, wife, and children. The second obligation is to his people, his community, and his country.
Very good. Clap for you. So here, twin obligations Mandela talking about is about the obligation or the duty towards his family. So family might be about his wife or parents or children. And second, obligation towards his country or towards his society. Got it? Sahaj, got it? Okay, now second question. What did what did being free mean to Mandela as a boy and as a student? So answer this much first. What did being free mean to Mandela as a boy and as a student? Okay, Arshin, give the answer. Mishti, then your turn will come.
Yes, ma'am. For Mandela, freedom had different meanings at different stages as a boy and as a student. As a boy, freedom meant to be able to run freely in the fields and to swim in the sea according to his will. And as a student, freedom meant to stay out at night, read whatever pleased him, or go wherever he wanted.
Yeah. So as a boy, freedom meant to roam about the fields or to his choice or to